I've loved SpongeBob ever since I was a child. I mean, who hasn't? I really don't need to give this show an introduction because everyone on planet Earth knows the little yellow bastard who lives in a pineapple under the sea, works a minimum wage job, and was probably created by radiation or something, I don't know. SpongeBob, what was once just a simple cartoon on Nickelodeon, has been known as a pop culture phenomenon for a few decades now. And of course, it has led the show to spawn a few spin-offs, loads of merchandise, a few theme park attractions, and of course, tampons! I mean, movies. I seriously meant movies. The first one, appropriately titled the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, was released in 2004, literally 5 months after I was born and the same day as that Nicolas Cage Illuminati film, and yeah, it's pretty fun. It has the same energy, charm, and humor as a regular episode of the show, and the message about accepting your inner kid was executed perfectly. My only complaint is that characters like Pearl, Mrs. Puff, and even Sandy just got swept under the rug. I mean, they didn't have to play a prominent role, but for how much attention they got on the show, they just felt like an afterthought here. I probably wouldn't be bothered by this as much if this movie wasn't meant to be the series finale, which it was initially, but of course, Nickelodeon being Nickelodeon, they kept it going, which gave us a second movie 11 years later. Sponge Out of Water, released in 2015, was just good. It kept what made the first movie great with its energy and comedy, and some deserving characters got more screen time. However, not only is it not nearly as funny as the first, but it's very unfocused plot-wise. It feels like the movie got bored with its initial plot in the first half, so it became a different movie in the second, and they don't really connect together other than the theme of teamwork. But other than that, it's fine. The incorporation of different animation styles was nice, plus the scenes on the surface were fun, and I really do like the teamwork song. Still seriously disappointed they cut the Monday song though. Then there's Sponge on the Run, released in 2020 with the most bizarre release strategy for an animated film I've ever seen. It was gonna be released in May of that year, but of course due to the pandemic it wouldn't be released until 2021 on Paramount Plus in the United States, but for some reason Paramount released the movie in Canadian theaters in August 2020, and it released on Netflix internationally a few months later. It's confusing, but probably not as confusing as the movie itself, which is the weakest theatrical SpongeBob movie by far. One thing I'll definitely praise it for is the animation. While I am gonna miss seeing 2D SpongeBob movies, Micros, the team behind it, did an amazing job with how this movie looks, utilizing stylized 3D to capture the spirit of the original show's animation. It reminds me a lot of the Peanuts movie. It's just that good. I also really like Keanu Reeves in this because anything with him is an automatic plus, and I will admit the Camp Coral scenes are really adorable. Everything else though has left much to be desired. It's literally a rehash of the first movie mixed in with Have You Seen the Snail and Whatever Happened to SpongeBob with less funny jokes and less focus, plus the pop culture references feel so out of place for a franchise like this. And even though I did just say that the Camp Coral scenes are cute, in context of the movie they don't fit in at all and feel rather forced. It sounded like they were aiming to make an It's a Wonderful Life spoof as far as the original title is concerned, though that hasn't been confirmed at all. Though I guess that didn't work out, but they still wanted to keep the Camp Coral stuff in for whatever reason. I mean, it did give us a really heartfelt scene near the climax, but it feels like it came from a completely different movie. The fourth movie, Search for SquarePants, releases in 2025, the same day as the third Avatar movie, so good luck with that. Though it is being directed by Show and Derek Drymon, so that's something to look forward to. Okay, I don't want to judge too soon, but seriously? Like, are we really doing this? But apparently, Nickelodeon feels like they haven't pumped every life out of this franchise enough, so now they are starting to get into the habit of direct-to-streaming movies, all beginning with Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie, which just dropped on Netflix. Which is weird considering Paramount already has their own streaming service that could use a content boost. Oh, wait! So, you might be wondering how I was able to release this video the day after this movie came out. I'm not a professional critic, I don't get invited to premieres, and I'm sure as hell not a fast editor. So how in the world was I able to get this out so quickly? Well, it was all because of the fateful day known as January 21st, 2024, when a friend on Discord messaged me. Bro! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! What? The new SpongeBob movie just got leaked! Wait, huh? Yeah, it turns out somebody leaked the completed movie in its entirety, which was taken down in about a day. As a matter of fact, this was not long after the new Fairly OddParents CG series got leaked as well, so whoever is working at Netflix, Paramount, or both is so gonna get fired. That or both companies have really bad security. And let's be honest here, regardless of who even is to blame, leaking stuff is not a good thing to do. I mean, do you ever think about the people who made it? No matter the quality, they put their damnedest into their work, and putting it out with no way for the artists, animators, writers, and actors to properly get paid just feels wrong. And don't forget about the poor millionaire executives who can't feed their families now because nobody wants to simply pay an arm and a leg for a service that just wants what's best for their consumers by shoving commercials in their face every 2 minutes and canceling content everyone wants to see. Seriously, have some humanity! Anyway, time for me to watch this early and illegally.
2 hours later.
I don't think I believe in religion anymore. This movie is... what the hell? I don't know if I can put into words how mind-numbing it is, but it was... God, I'm trying to be nice here, but it was so much worse than what I thought it was gonna be. I could spend this whole video going to extreme detail as to why that is, but... you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. Remember when I said in my modern internet criticism video that there are certain movies that are actually worth nitpicking? This is one of them. There is so much wrong with this movie that I have to talk about it. Strap in, because this is gonna be painful. Let's dive into the wrath that is Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. Pray for me.
Howdy, Squidward! Want to talk about Texas?
So the movie starts and, oh wait a minute, since I'm talking about a new Nickelodeon movie, I'm gonna have to put this here and do that there, and yep, there we go. So the movie starts and already there's a noticeable problem. The animation. Now, I just want to clarify that I understand this was a very low budget movie. This had no intention of going to theaters, unlike Sponge on the Run, so I don't think we were expecting god tier Spider-Verse animation for a movie meant for Netflix. I also want to give credit to the animators since they really put their best effort with the materials they had to work with. I hope they weren't overworked, I hope they got paid well, and I hope they have a happier and more successful future with their careers. With all of that said,
oh my goodness!
this is probably the most inconsistent a SpongeBob movie has ever looked. You can clearly tell in certain points of the movie where the animation was done by someone else and it sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, there are scenes where it looks decently animated, but then there are instances where it just leans into the uncanny valley, like why the hell do Patrick and Mr. Krabs look like that? The closest I see this resembling is the Cosmic Shake video game, but for some reason this looks kinda worse in a way. It ranges from decent to ugly as shit, and I don't think I've ever seen an anime movie with this sort of problem. And I can't for the life of me say it's pleasant to look at. Right off the bat, we meet our protagonist Sandy Cheeks, including her robot companion Sparky?
Here, Sparky, Sparky, Sparky!
Ooh-wee! Whatever you want, Rick. We're here to help.
Thanks, Mr. Poopy Butthole. I always could count on you.
And yeah, it kinda rushes into it pretty quick. No dialogue from the French narrator, not even a shot of bikini at all, just barely a minute in and we already have our first song. Oh yeah, this is a musical by the way. Yay! I say that in quotations because while there are full songs at the beginning and end, the others in between don't even last a minute, which is probably for the better because all of them are a little ear damage. I'm not kidding when I tell you that it's actually the most bland and forgettable soundtrack in the entire franchise. I would show some examples, but not only do I know that once I'm finished editing this video, they're gonna release the full soundtrack and increase my chances of me getting striked, but I also don't want you guys to be subjected to this sort of torture now. Do I? So after the opening number, SpongeBob himself comes into the picture. Despite that he was just outside with everyone else mere seconds ago, guess it was all in Sandy's imagination. It's not long till all of Bikini Bottom is scooped up by some large crane, which sends everyone into a frenzy.
What is this? A volcano? An invasion? Does Patrick have gas again?
Well, I guess this is gonna come in handy. So because of this corporation named Boots, which is a lab that Sandy works for apparently, even though I thought it was chimpanzees that employed her, all of Bikini Bottom is gone, oh no.
And all my streaming videos on demand. I can't demand them anymore.
Get it? Because streaming services are the hip trendy thing that we license this out to because we're too damn broke to operate our own. Get it? Get it? So after a minute-long pointless gag of SpongeBob crying,
It hurts! Oh, fuck, it hurts! It hurts so fucking much!
the duo venture up to the surface to go to Texas. Hooray! And once they land on a plane, Sandy uses a hydration spray that can help SpongeBob breathe since the writers just remembered that he can't live in the air.
Why?
Hey look, the first actually funny joke. Enjoy it while you can, because they're gonna be pretty rare throughout. So they finally arrive in Texas, but oh no, a tornado, because Texas. Thankfully, they land safely, but it looks like SpongeBob needs water, so he gets it from a cactus, despite Sandy using a spray mere minutes ago, but I guess we have to remind audiences that this is a Texas desert. Though, was it really hard to have Sandy give her helmet to SpongeBob and fill it with water? Just saying. Meanwhile, at Boots, which is located inside a water park because why the hell not, Bikini Bottom is trapped inside the bowl, and this is where we meet these two. Oh, yeah, this is a live-action hybrid. Great. Phoebe and Kyle, filed under K, are scientists that work in a lab and yeah, they're just kinda there. Sure, there are a few chuckle-worthy jokes with them, but most of their shtick is just a bland attempt at being live-action Looney Tunes characters. I don't blame the actors at all since they've had pretty good roles before, it's just that the way they were written reminds me of a bad Nickelodeon sitcom. Unfortunately, everyone else in Bikini Bottom has succumbed to the same fate, as they're only just there to be the victims of a kidnapping. They didn't need to have a bigger role in this, but you could literally take any scene with them out and it wouldn't affect the story one bit. But it's not made any better when we are introduced to the main villain, Tsunami, played by the queen of, well, at least she's better than Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes.
Equal pay! Yeah, we gotta get equal pay. And it'd be like, ooh, girl, I gotta get home and watch The Bachelor.
On the upside, she has a dog companion. I am so sorry you had to be involved with this. I'd also like to share my condolences to the CGI fish who, while not even real, had to be animated to pleasure someone's kink. Meanwhile, back with SpongeBob and San Diego.
Wow, Texas sure is magical.
Jesus Christ, man, I just put this up here. And then, oh no, snake ambush. So Sandy transforms into a karate suit and fights off the snake bandits. Which is cool, I guess. It's in character for her. We're probably never gonna see these guys again, but go off, I guess. But suddenly, she gets bitten by one of the snakes and... I cannot catch a break here, can I? Then, with the blow of a whistle, we meet Sandy's family. Yeah, you forgot this movie was mainly about Sandy, haven't you? They come in to defeat the snakes and it's revealed that they aren't just Sandy's family, you see. They're also the Amazing Cheek Circus. Oh. Oh god! Okay, I will give them credit for casting Johnny Knoxville as Randy Cheeks, cause, come on, you can't go wrong with Johnny Knoxville. He electrocuted Tyler Creator with the piano. But it's honestly the only thing I can say about the Cheeks family as a whole. As characters, they aren't really worth caring for that much. If at all. They're so two-dimensional that you kinda gloss over how they're apparently integral to the story. Also, why are they a circus family? I get wanting to make Sandy the odd one out, but making them a circus family is such a random choice. It's like making Plankton's family a bunch of hillbillies. Oh. Back at Boots, Tsunami is enraged that she doesn't have SpongeBob, and I guess because her assistants need a refresher, she shows a video detailing her plan to make sea pals, which involves keeping the sea creatures fed, altering their DNA to help them breathe in the air, and clone them so children across the country can have fun with their little sea creatures. As you can tell, the movie is aiming to have an implicit message of, capitalist corporations are bad, okay? It's wrong to harm our planet's environment and living beings for the sake of consumption, okay? And it is obviously a message I can get behind, but you're telling me this is coming from Nickelodeon? Like, that Nickelodeon? Or is this a cry for help in the same way that Krusty Sponge was? You'll never convince me it isn't. And I guess just like that, we're already back to the A-plot where Randy Cheeks is telling SpongeBob how he has the most irresistible wink in Texas, but for some reason, SpongeBob can't wink. How the fuck do you even blink then? You know, now that I guess I have another opportunity here, I mentioned earlier that a lot of the characters here have been dumbed down and flanderized, and SpongeBob himself is also an unfortunate victim of this. I mean, sure, he is often bubbly and gullible, but he isn't a complete idiot, and there are certain times where he doesn't kid around. None of that applies here, where he has been completely reduced to an obnoxious, blubbering comedic sidekick. I get not wanting to make a SpongeBob movie without having the titular character involved somehow, but he just kinda exists here, and he can't wink and likes to smell shit. Yeah, I'm sorry, but they really did him dirty. So now, we actually get a pretty solid in-depth character moment for Sandy. Is what I would say if the movie actually committed to it. Sure, it shows Sandy's circus skills are still in her, and it kinda explains that she left the circus for a love of science, but that's pretty much it. No real depth into why she ever got into science or how she got a job with Boots. All we get are just breadcrumbs. Sandy is understandably a character you can explore so much of. Like, she's a squirrel who lives underwater, who is from Texas, that is not only a scientist, but she's also very good at karate. There's a large amount of backstory potential you can delve into, but no. All we get is...
Aw, Ma, you knew my love of science would always win out over the circus.
That's honestly a waste of a Sandy Cheeks movie. I'm not expecting a deep, super emotional dive into Sandy's character, but I was hoping to get something more than just, I love science more, you see? Back at the lab, Phase 1 of Sea Powell's production has begun by feeding every Bikini Bottom civilian with fake Krabby Patties.
Oh my. Oh. Yeah. Are you gonna eat that?
Get it? It's funny because they're fat. So now Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs are scooped up, have their genes altered so they can breathe in the air, and they bring in the focus group, which are 2 little children. Oh no, our favorite characters are being tortured by children. Stop. Somebody do something. Please. Meanwhile, the Cheeks family are being chased by the cops because plot, and they drive off a cliff and into another tornado because plot.
This time we're downwind. Definitely downwind.
So you can't handle the smell of a tornado, yet you can handle smelling little feces? Make it make sense, dude. Then they finally get to the direction of Galveston, but since more police are chasing them now, Sandy's parents can launch her and SpongeBob out to the water park. You know, I really don't want to assume that one or more of the writers behind this don't have some weird kinks, but the movie is making it hard for me to not do that. But uh-oh, they're now being chased by the dog, though they can thankfully get away when it gets turned into obvious CGI for a moment and shortcut their way to the lab through a sewer. But oh no, sewer water! Why is SpongeBob drowning in sewer water? Like, I get it's a different kind of water, but it's fucking water! You know, something that he has lived under his entire life? How the hell does a sea sponge drown in— God damn it, dude, you gotta pull yourself together. Okay, to be fair, I get SpongeBob is the kind of show where things just happen with no rhyme or reason, but even then, the show has always stuck to a consistent logic that this movie clearly stopped caring about midway through. Plus, the inconsistencies come off as less intentional and absurd and more like the writers just not giving a fuck and having an attitude that's just, well, children aren't gonna care. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So they finally make it to the lab where they're reunited with their friends, for only a few seconds before SpongeBob is taken and put on a little roller coaster ride to have him cloned for Phase 3. Oh no! Wait a minute, they just skipped Phase 1 and 2 altogether. Isn't that, like, crucial to the whole plan? Even if SpongeBob was fed and, I guess he has air breathing abilities now, they don't know that! The whole point of those first 2 phases was to ensure that when the creatures get cloned, they don't shrivel up and die. Something that could have happened to, oh, I don't know, every civilian in Bikini Bottom, including the 3 that actually went through the first 2 phases. But, oh well, we gotta get to the third act climax faster now, don't we? They trap Sandy inside a cage, and this is where we get what everyone has been waiting to hear this whole time, Tsunami's backstory. Whoop-de-fucking-do, couldn't have gone without the... So, when she was a little girl, she loved stealing fish from the aquarium, but she couldn't keep them around because without water they die, and I can't stop looking at it. It's staring into my soul. In all seriousness, this is unironically the movie's funniest joke. There was zero intention on making this flashback look any good, and I actually find it hilarious. Like, no kidding. Bravo to whoever thought up this. However, this is one of the main things that frustrates me about this movie so much. There are actually quite a few decent gags sprinkled in here, but the rest of the jokes aside from them are just not funny. Most of the gags are either ripped from the show, toilet humor, or just the blandest attempts at comedy. This could have been a wacky, self-aware, and very fun buddy comedy, but it's deciding not to be that, and it's instead just playing it safe so only toddlers can laugh. And you know what? Maybe I'm not the target audience for this movie. SpongeBob has always been made for children, not gonna argue with that, and perhaps they did try to aim for a much younger audience here, which I have no issues with. However, there's a difference between the movie having a tone that's all goofy and silly so the children's attention are kept, and the movie that's just treating its entire audience like morons. If somebody were to point out bad writing in your excuses, it's for children, that's not just deflecting criticism, but it's also, like I said, treating the audience like they're stupid. And trust me, the movie is gonna prove that as it goes further. If it hasn't already. And oh look, Tsunami is actually a robot ripped straight from Shark Boy and Lava Girl. How'd she become one? We don't know. They say it was because of piranhas, but they never tell us who even turned her into a robot in the first place. And she reveals that she was able to do the whole plan because of Sandy's research, and everyone is sad. Oh no. And what does Sandy do? She just mopes, acts like it's her fault, and gives in. What? It might just be me, but this does not feel like Sandy at all. In fact, finding out she was used for something horrible would send her into complete rage mode. Usually if Sandy was angry, she'd let you know. Physically, put her friends in danger, take advantage of her, interrupt her hibernation, or even make fun of Texas, and you're pretty much seafood for dinner tonight. And in fairness, they do kinda get that down in this movie with the whole snake bow and even a few minutes earlier when she tried attacking Tsunami. But the moment where something like that could really be necessary, suddenly it's all boo-hoo, it's all my fault, Randy Cheeks was right, I hurt my friends' feelings and lives, oh woe is me. So you're all defensive when snakes ambush you and when some big CEO kidnaps your friends, but the moment you find out the CEO, whose lab you trusted for so long, was able to successfully take away your friends and be able to fizzle away their lives for profit all because they took advantage of you, suddenly you bitch out? What the fuck? And yeah, everyone else is understandably upset because they had no idea Sandy was sent down to Bikini Bottom to spy on them in the first place, but she had no goddamn clue that her research would be used for something like Sea-Pow, so why the fuck is the movie putting the blame on her? Dear God, I know I shouldn't be getting this angry at something like SpongeBob, but this movie is just boggling my mind in a way that I don't think anything else from the franchise has done. I am on my last string of sanity here, and I don't know how much longer it will be until I—
Avast there, land witch! Do not pop SpongeBob! It's the only thing I'll ever ask of you!
You know, there is an easy solution. It's called— do something yourself, you lazy bitch! There is zero barrier preventing you from getting your greedy ass off that table and actually helping the damn dude instead of just standing there and not even attempting to do shit. There was a whole opportunity for you to secretly help him while Sue was here telling a backstory nobody gives a fuck about, but were distracted by it anyway. But nah, you just chose to stand here and say empty words while your old chum here gets cloned because I guess the third act climax has to happen, doesn't it?
Avast ye, land witch! Please! Do not give it a little time for them to grow to actual size!
Oh, so now you choose to get off the table and do shit. Something that could have been done this whole time! God, fuck this movie, I hate this movie so fucking much, I can't take it! Hi there. I just got back from spending a few months at the insane asylum after I lost control of myself so much that I ended up attacking an innocent man on the street, which got the attention of my neighbor that resulted in him calling the police. But hey, had some surgery to get my strings of sanity back together, which hurt like Hades, and I'm all back to normal. So, where was I again? Oh, damn it. So, SpongeBob's clones get everywhere and they go to Sandy to give her a motivational speech. Yippee!
I just want to tell you not to
Yeah, it was.
No, it fucking wasn't. She had explicitly said that she had no idea that she was being used by the company for the plan, and the fact that the movie still blames her kinda leans toward victim blaming. Which is actually kinda messed up when you think about it a bit more. But mini SpongeBob finally convinces her to not give up on Bikini Bottom because they're not just her friends, you see, they're her family. Aw, so sweet. And we still blame her for everything. So Sandy decides to not give up and works to destroy Tsunami's robot herself, which decapitates her, leading to her being swallowed by that fish. Yay! They also found out a way to bring SpongeBob back to normal by squishing the clones together. Yay! But oh no! The water bowl they stuffed Bikini Bottom in has broken. This means they need to call for help. But uh-oh, Sandy can't do the whistle because she lost a tooth because...
Take a guess.
Leaving it only up to SpongeBob to do it himself. Hooray for character development! It leads to Cheeks family showing up because we just remembered they're important to the story, but uh-oh, they can't move the spear because one family isn't enough, so they use the help of everyone else in Bikini Bottom since it's her second family. Hooray for development!
He's so masculine.
Well, at least now we have confirmation that SpongeBob's bi. I guess the rainbows meant something after all. So they build a contraption that can get them home, and look, the other half of Sparky is back. Remember that he was in the movie, folks? And now they finally get back home, restoring Bikini Bottom to its glory, even though I think SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward's houses aren't supposed to be there, and how is Sandy and her family not dead? But who cares? Now we have the grand finale with the Cheeks family circus performing where they somehow managed to fit an entire circus tent inside the Krusty Krab.
Thank you.
So SpongeBob and Squidward are both bi? Does this mean we'll get the episode where they finally do it? And look everybody, Kyle and Phoebe and the dog are there. Missed them yet? And now it closes off with a musical number about how much Sandy loves both of her families, and then it pans out to reveal that Tsunami is still alive now that she is a fish. Oh no! The end. Alright, now that I'm done screaming at a children's movie, which is probably gonna guarantee more clicks, I think this time I should be more honest, fair, and serious about Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. Yeah, this sucked. I mean, with it being SpongeBob, I will give it credit that it does have its moments here and there, but with a painfully predictable and bland story, animation that's hideous half of the time, characters that are either forgettable or turned into complete idiots, unlistenable songs, and mostly unfunny jokes, I am not lying when I say that this is not just SpongeBob's worst movie, but this might just be the worst thing to come out of this franchise. Period. I know it's nothing new to say in the post-season 6 cartoon community landscape, but this is the one release I can comfortably say doesn't feel like SpongeBob. For as much blunders the franchise has had in the past, I can still feel the heart and soul that made the series so special within. Even Sponge on the Run, for all the corporate vibes it gives off, still felt recognizably SpongeBob for the most part, which is why I don't hate it like everyone else does, even if I don't think it's that good. This feels like someone making a SpongeBob fan film, despite writing and directing something SpongeBob related is so out of their field since they're mainly known for dramas. And the funny part is, and I'm gonna try and be as nice as possible here, that's pretty much what happened. Sure, you've got your show villains like Vincent Waller and Kaz on board, but then you have people like Lisa Johnson directing, and her credits include The Last of Us, Dead to Me, American Horror Story. Oh yeah, they also got the producer of Food Fight on this. I mean, I'm fine with choosing people outside of the SpongeBob bubble to helm a movie, and I'm certain these newcomers aren't at all bad talent, but if some of these people's filmographies are anything to go by, SpongeBob is just not their ballpark. Yeah, I can totally see the director of Return 2011 and the producer of Elvis the Lost Performances working on a SpongeBob movie. And as you can probably guess, this won't be the franchise's only fare on Netflix. Plankton is getting his own movie next year, and rumors suggest Patrick is gonna follow suit, and to be real, after the Sandy Cheeks movie, I don't have extremely high hopes for them. But who knows? Chances are I could be completely wrong, they'll actually be decent watches, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. For now, I can only hope that Nickelodeon will learn and try to do better than whatever the hell I sat through. The few funny jokes are the one thing that's keeping this from being a 1 out of 10. Other than that, I'm actually impressed at how awful and how much of a waste of time this was, like dear Neptune. I have nothing else to say other than this is a straight up 2 out of 10. I don't see the point in giving this a rating since I've already ran it enough, but I just don't care anymore. I don't want to think about this movie again, and I probably won't, and good riddance from my mind. At least until I do my 2024 ranking. I'm Miyachi, and this concludes my suffering. Thanks for enduring it, everyone. I'm gonna go walk on the beach like a normal person. Wait, I just remembered I live in Ohio.